The NLCS starts on FS1 as the Phillies take on the Padres. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Cannot wait for that. Time for rewarding performance. Brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Well, the Eagles rewarded 2-5. That's Shady McCoy. He was there in person with a huge win last night over the Cowboys. Eagles in sole possession of the NFC East. Jalen Hurts, 2 touchdown passes. On the flip side, Cooper Rush hour is over. It is clear driving on the highways. Cooper Rush picked off 3 times. Eagles only undefeated team in the league. I learned a lot watching that game, but Shady, I'm more interested in what you learned. You were there. You were on the sidelines. You were in the parking lot. Why did you park in a player parking lot?
I'm a boss. I pulled it like I'm playing again. Cut to the back. They like, Shady? Like, yeah. You playing? No, I'm not playing. Retired, bro. But check my trunk. I'm ready to go. I went right through where the players went at.
For the record, they check your trunk because you're going into the parking lot of an NFL stadium. It wasn't like, Shady out here, you know what I'm saying?
Whoa.
I'm saying. Can you clarify for me?
No, I went to a Canes game 2 weeks ago in Miami to see my brother coach. They always check the car.
Exactly. I just don't think the viewer knew that, right?
They take a dog around and check any car.
You get to park a lot closer to the stadium than a lot of people.
Interestingly, though,
I don't know where they parked.
We don't park under the stadium.
Nah,
most teams
right outside.
park under it. I was like,
I went right through the players' little lounge. Right to the locker room. Hey, how y'all doing?
All-time leading rusher, baby.
That's true. That is true. But we not that cool.
You and the
Eagles, Cowboys.
Fair. Hey.
What'd you learn in the game, big dog?
Well, I don't know if what I learned from watching the game, because I knew we were the best team, but that kind of really proved it. They were the best team in the NFL. I think we're the most dominant team in the NFC. And when I really watched that game, seeing the energy in the stadium as far as like the offense out there playing, the defense, like we really played together. The defense, we need to stop, they go get the stop. Offense, we need a touchdown, we go get the touchdown. We need a short yardage, third and 1, 4 for 1, we get it. Like, we really played well together, where most teams that I played on, even teams I won on, it's like they don't match each other, right? The defense is just okay, and the offense is super good.
That's real.
Right? So we need the defense to get a stop, they don't get it. But the offense, we keep scoring, and then we eventually win the game. Or, on the other side, the offense is not that good, but the defense is really good. Like Jimmy G or I won't say Jimmy, but like 49ers, how they win games. Offense not putting points up, defense stopping everybody, getting turnovers. Philadelphia is like different. We're doing well on defense, we're doing well on offense, and we play well together. So I really watched that and learned that when I was at the stadium with my birds on.
Joy, what'd you pick apart from that game? It said some things. I know you've been on the Eagles bandwagon day one. What'd you learn?
Well, I don't know if I learned this because I felt this already, but I guess it affirmed it, that the Cowboys are still limited offensively.
Yep.
I don't want to say I was right about Cooper Rush all along, but
You can, though.
Listen, Cooper did an amazing job at what was asked of him. But when things got a little off script, when things got a little chaotic, what happens? You needed to see special, and he didn't. And that's because he's not QB1. And it shouldn't be expected of him. So if we were looking at this game, as we should have been looking at least on the offensive side of the ball with the Dallas Cowboys, we should have expected this outcome. Now, we had questions about how much Dallas's defense was going to disrupt what the Eagles do and Jalen Hurts specifically, but we didn't see that. So to me, this just affirms what I already thought about the Dallas Cowboys offense, which is they're kind of limited. There's nothing really special going on here. If they don't turn the ball over, then they can stay in games relying on the defense and the special teams to make big plays. And scoring plays, for that matter. But you can't win like that when you're playing a team like the Eagles. You can't rely on your defense to score.
Here's what was fascinating, right? Like, I was with you, Joy, up until the final leg of your take. Because I agree. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, dang, the Cowboys are limited. Even this morning in our little production meeting, the Cowboys are limited. But I do my best thoughts walking to the makeup room. I don't know why. And what I realized on that long trek was the Cowboys, as limited as they are, they were down by 3. With about 6 minutes left, and it took an Eagles 13-play drive where they passed twice and ran the ball 11 times to ice that game. Like, I can't sit here and tell myself that the Dallas Cowboys were really out of it, even with their limitations. Now, what I learned was this. Jalen Hurts is as good as you need him to be right now, period. I watched the Eagles game. I watched the Ravens game. The Ravens are quarterbacked by a former NFL MVP. The Eagles are quarterbacked by a person who many people have questions about. Both teams were winning 20-17 late in the fourth quarter. What happened with the Ravens? Their quarterback, Lamar Jackson, threw an interception. Yep. The Giants go down and score. Giants win that game. What happened with the Eagles? Their quarterback helps march the team down the field. 13 plays, touchdown. The Eagles win that game. The difference between the Eagles winning and the Eagles losing is Jalen Hurts. He's as good as they need him to be right now. Might he run into trouble come the playoffs? Sure, but we're not in the playoffs right now. Dave, what'd you learn?
I love the word affirm from Joy, because that's how I felt. Like, this game, for the most part, played out to the script that I think a lot of us saw, right? The Cowboys are severely limited playing a backup quarterback. That Eagles secondary is nice. I would have been interested to see a quarterback who could challenge them a little better. And I mean this as a compliment. Darius Slay and James Bradbury were just kind of like, bat that away. Oh, okay, that ball's taking 4 seconds to get to the sideline. I got that. Like, they weren't challenged by the Cowboys' passing attack. I think a lot of us saw that coming. On the flip side, the Cowboys can play well and be a formidable team when they're winning the turnover battle, getting short fields for their offense, making explosive plays on defense. The defense played solid, but when they can't do that, they are severely hindered. That is why they need Dak Prescott. That is why they lost the game by multiple possessions. Let me finish.
Finish.
And then as far as the Eagles, I'll say this. I said the Bills are better. I don't think there is a more complimentary team in the NFL than the Eagles. I was so impressed by the way that every aspect of their team fed off of each other. The defense gets takeaways for the offense. The offense gets out to an early lead that helps the defense play better.
Always does.
And then the other thing, the thing that I thought was so interesting about Jalen Hurts, the coaching staff is so dialed in to his strengths. You know, we talked about it in the production meeting, Shady, the RPOs that they're calling on 4th and short in the red zone, the little, A.J. Brown comes across, you figure out if it's man coverage, and then Micah Parsons can't cover A.J. Brown. Easy stuff like that. They play to his strengths. And then they did run the ball 11 times on that drive. Jalen Hurts picked up a crucial 3rd and short with his legs. He does just enough, and the coaching staff knows exactly what he's good at, that it's hard to put him in a bad situation.
Here's my question for you, Dave, and you, Joy, because we keep kind of attributing the Cowboys' loss to the lack of Dak Prescott to a large degree. Cooper Rush didn't play well. But what quarterbacks have played well against the Eagles? Like, who's to say that Dak would have played significantly better? Kirk Cousins.
That's my question.
Kirk Cousins, 1
terrible.
touchdown, 3 picks against the Eagles.
Right.
Kirk Cousins had a 51 pass rating. Kyler Murray, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 250 yards against the Eagles. So Cooper Rush did not play well. Carson Wentz, we know what he was. We know what he did against the Eagles. No quarterback has played well except for Jared Goff week 1 against the Eagles. So I'm just saying, like, what leads you to believe that Dak would have been any different?
He would have challenged them more. Based on 7 years of watching Dak, he would have challenged them more. And it's not to say that they would have won or maybe even played significantly better. Like, a fair criticism of Dak is that he has a bad tendency to press when he's in a bad situation. So maybe it wouldn't have been better. But again, the Eagles weren't even challenged. Like, 6 of Cooper Rush's first 16 attempts were touched by an Eagles player between picks, bats, knockdowns at the line. Like, it just wasn't even a challenge for the Eagles' back 7 to contest the Cowboys' passing game. At the very least, I think Dak would have made them work.
Do I get in there?
Maybe we just need to put a little more respect on the Philadelphia defense. Why are all the quarterbacks playing bad? Maybe because the defense is making them play bad. Maybe it has something to do with the way that the defensive side of the ball is putting pressure on those quarterbacks at the line and getting takeaways and making things difficult on them and making them get away from their game plan. That's probably what we need to be focusing on. It's not that all these quarterbacks are bad. We've seen all of those quarterbacks have huge games and big moments. Most of those quarterbacks have been paid already multiple times. So it's not just that every quarterback that they've played against has been bad. Philadelphia defense is good.
Making them bad, yeah.
And so your point about what happened in the Ravens game versus what happened in this game, yes, how the game plays out matters, but this is the NFL. You're not supposed to beat everybody by double digits, which they did, by the way. But you're not supposed to do that. Every single game isn't supposed to be a blowout. They're supposed to be close. So having the Cowboys be in the game with 6 minutes left, you should be. You shouldn't be getting blown out. I don't need you to blow a team out every single week to prove that you're capable. What I do need you to do is close the game out, and that's what Philadelphia did. And we're going to talk about the Ravens in a little bit, but that's the difference to me between a great team and a good to average team.
Do you leave that game more excited about the Cowboys? Because I was thinking about this, 2-5, Joy. I was thinking about it I don't know if 2 things can be true. I don't know if I can leave that game both more excited about the Cowboys and more excited about the Eagles. 3-point game, 5-6 minutes left. I'm like, yo, Cowboys did all right without Dak Prescott. 3-point game with about 5 or 6 minutes left. I'm like, why aren't the Eagles ahead by more? I'm going to go to you first. Do you leave that game respecting the Cowboys more because of how well they played without their starting $160 million QB?
No, I don't. If Dak played, in my opinion, they probably opened the offense up for him. Because if you look at the Cooper Rush, the offense is not super big, the playbook. You could tell the way the plays they had for him. But I just think Dak, even with a bigger playbook, it's like, how much better does he really do? I think he does probably a little better, but I'm not like overly crazy like on Dak how you are. So I think they still lose the game. And then when I leave the game from the Eagles, I think it's more on them because the way they played. The hardest thing in football is to finish a team. Mm-hmm. You could be up first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. They start storming back because it's the pros. But putting them away, put your foot on their neck, it's over for y'all. Y'all can't do nothing else. That's hard to do in the league. And we do that over and over again, last week and this week.
Joy, do you leave the game more impressed by the Cowboys, or are you just kind of like, they lost, they played well? What do you expect?
No, I'm way more impressed with the Eagles. To be undefeated at this point in the season, to be beating teams, and like Shady said, to be closing teams out, because to me, that is what's really difficult. The game has ebbs and flows. It has momentum changes. You get a turnover, something crazy happens, someone fumbles the ball, and you give teams a little bit of life. Things happen. You guys play. There's energy shifts within the game. You start to feel excited. Okay, maybe we can get back in this. To be a really great team, you have to take somebody's soul. Snatch that. Not today. Not
soul
today.
Snatcher.
Exactly, and that's what they did. So I don't feel that was a good game for the Cowboys. I feel like the defense did all that they could. The defense did a nice job. That was not a good offensive performance. I'm not going to pile on Cooper. That's what I expected to happen in a game against a great team like the Eagles.
Well, what I did not expect to happen, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, blowing their third double-digit lead of the season.